Millennials, a generation born between 1980 and 1990 and ranging from ages 22 to 37.
My name is Elizabeth Whitney, and I am 23 years old.
My name is John Costa, and I am 25 years old.
My name is Paul Luna, and I am 32 years old.
Cedric Hood, and I'm 23 years old, my Jordan year.
If popular stereotypes are true, the millennial generation is a group of lazy, self-absorbed social media junkies with an affinity for avocado toast and participation trophies. At least, that's what you may have heard in this YouTube video that went viral 2 years ago. Nearly 6 million views later, and the negative stereotypes of an entire generation are forever immortalized in one catchy song. And it's not just YouTube singers that are taking aim at millennials. News sources consistently run stories that paint them in a negative light. And this depiction in the media may be the reason most shy away from the millennial label.
I don't label myself as anything. I'm John, and that's what I am. If I'm a millennial, cool. If I'm not, okay, I don't really care.
I do call myself a millennial, but since I'm barely a millennial, it's always felt like a weird label to me.
I don't really believe in labels, but yes, in theory, I'm a millennial, yes.
In fact, according to Pew Research Center, millennials are 60% more likely to reject their generation's label.
I hear so many negative things about millennials, and I just don't feel like I fall in that category. Millennials being lazy, just the whole technology thing, being glued to their phones, everything handed down to them.
It's always we're lazy and we're selfish and we're obsessed with technology.
The vaping, self-centered, you have to post everything on social media, otherwise like it didn't happen kind of stuff. So I've definitely heard the negative stereotypes.
But is there any truth to the negative myths about millennials? Well, maybe a little. According to Pew Research Center, more millennials live with their parents than with their significant others or on their own. And yes, millennials do love their technology. In fact, Pew says that millennials view their use of technology as one of the defining characteristics of their generation.
Like with the internet boom and all that stuff, like we are very tech savvy at a young age, and it's just getting more and more younger. So that's a good thing too.
But are they lazy? Well, millennials disagree.
I would say that there's some truth to it, but that's not all there is to millennials.
I'm just not in that ballpark. Like, I work hard. I'm not always on my phone.
Definitely don't think we're lazy and selfish, because a lot of us are hardworking and most of us have jobs and live our lives and go to college.
And the numbers back them up. In 2016, millennials became the largest generation in the U.S. workforce. But many feel like things have been more difficult for their generation.
I think we're born into a time of tragic historical events constantly over and over again. And I think older generations, in a lot of ways, didn't really have to face stuff like that. And they did, just not the way we face it every single day over and over again.
Millennials are more burdened by financial hardships than previous generations. They suffer from higher levels of student loan debt, poverty, and homelessness, even lower levels of wealth and personal income.
It's harder to get a job, it's harder to get an apartment, but it wasn't the same for them. College wasn't the same price. All this stuff was more accessible then than it is now.
Yes, millennials have a harder time finding jobs and homes, but it's not all negative.
I do believe that the, quote, millennials are pretty, I want to say, all-inclusive and welcoming, and I feel like every group of friends I see walking around that are quote-unquote millennials, it's usually a mixed group. Like, everyone's more diverse, and I feel like the quote-unquote millennials have something to do with that.
Millennials are the most racially diverse generation in American history. And millennials are quick to remind you that they are all different and unique.
I just believe we're all different, and we all have a different story, different background.
None of us are really like the stereotypical image that you paint us as.
Have you ever had avocado toast?
Every day? No, I'm just kidding. I have. That's funny.
Please pray for millennials.
Angelica Hernandez for Fresno State Focus Radio Edition.